Welcome back to another instalment of the Global Sport in Colour and the Voice newspaper sports magazine show. I'm here with Michael Facey of Nothing Long TV, Rodney Hines, sports and features editor of the Voice newspaper. Welcome.
On to you.
We're gonna. It's a bit of a football special because the season's ended now.
Let's indulge. Let's indulge.
He's got on a vintage one as well.
There you go.
He's got on a vintage sharp.
We're in Europe.
Yeah,
that's all that matters.
Sharp, but you're not sharp at the moment, though.
We're just in Europe.
We'll get to that. Excuse me. Boxing. I want to start off with some boxing this week. The reason being is because last weekend, Anthony Yarde won his first Southern Area title. He's an up-and-coming light heavyweight talent, the likes of which we caught up with just before the title fight.
Definitely.
For the YouTube subscribers, the ones that follow The Voice anyway, because we've got Nothing Long YouTube subscribers as well, they would have seen that video. Did you upload?
I did upload.
You did, yeah. They would have seen that video. No. Sometimes we hold, innit?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So they would have seen that video. It was a great introduction into who the man Anthony Yarde is. Young 25-year-old prospect from East London. He's only 11-0. It was a great win last week. Before we talk about the win, let's watch the interview and learn a little bit more about it.
I'm a person that I'm just obsessed with progression and becoming better. So that's why you get some fighters, they win a fight or they win a title, they get complacent, they start doing like God knows what. But me, I'm the kind of person, the more I win, I want more. I want more of that feeling. So I've won this fight. How would it feel if I win in another fight? How would I feel when I win a world title? So it's like, it's a thing that keeps me grounded. So my progression stages at this stage, for me, it's just been relieving.
Very interesting young man. He's very confident. He's in the right camp with that confidence with Tunde Ajayi.
Yeah.
Everything's timing, Tun, we know already. He fought well on the weekend. For me, it was the guy just didn't really offer much. Chris Hobbs didn't offer much in the way of a challenge. Body shots for me, if you're getting beaten by body shots, that means you're not really a boxer.
You're not doing the work properly.
Not really a
He's
boxer.
at that stage where Joshua was when he first signed his professional contract, where he's just learning his craft. So you can just see the people that he's coming in with. He's so good that he's still got to go through those stages of learning the professional arena. But he's so good, he can just put them out in mind.
That was his first 10-rounder as well, and
Good for him.
Good for him. I mean, when I say 10-rounder, he was in an official 10-rounder. He didn't go 10 rounds.
Yeah. Oh right, okay.
He didn't go 10 rounds. And I don't really think anything in his way in the next couple of fights is going to go 10 rounds. He's going to last distance. He's got good power in both hands. And I think he's going to be definitely one that we're singing about in the future. Yeah, 100%. Whether he's going to be a world title holder or not, he's got to go.
Do you know what I find interesting is that you say he's 11-0. That's not too far behind AJ himself, if you think about it. Right. You know, and I would probably want to ask a question when I meet Mr. Yarde that how much of a positive effect has the Anthony Joshua bandwagon had? Because you can't ignore it, can you? No. Same division. Same aspirations, I would imagine.
Well, no, a little bit. He's not same division. He's a light heavyweight.
Yeah, but I mean, come on.
One day will just
one day. One day.
David,
If the numbers are right. If the numbers are right.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So interesting.
He's an exciting prospect, and Anthony, as I said to you in the interview, and I said to you off camera as well, we're going to be following you. So keep doing the right things. Stay positive and listen to Tunde because he knows what he's doing.
Is he connected in any way to Marlon Yarde, the rugby player?
I don't know.
That name has been bouncing about for a while, not just in boxing but in rugby as well. So that's a question. Yeah, a few yards. I like it. Totally unrehearsed that.
Who else on that bill caught the attention of anybody here? I know Daniel Dubois was fighting. It's only his third heavyweight fight. I don't want to overhype the boy. We haven't spoke to him. Daniel, if you're thinking where's the voice, we're coming for you.
We're coming for you.
We're watching.
We're coming for you, DD.
We're coming for you, DD. See, look, he's writing headlines.
Yeah, I'm writing headlines. I'm always writing headlines. It's interesting because, as you know, I do a radio show on ABN, and I had the guru that's Ambrose Mendy on the show. A man that's obviously worked very, very closely and successfully with Nigel Benn, Daniel DeGale, now working alongside Chris Eubank in a capacity. And he made a point about Daniel Dubois. He said, Rodney, this is the real deal. Now, obviously, boxing and sport is surrounded by a lot of hype. But he seems to think that this could be a bit special.
He looks it. I mean, at 19 years of age, has all the tools. I don't know what the amateur record was like. I didn't see even if there was one, to be honest with you.
Straight
but in terms of what I saw on the weekend and the other two fights he's had before that, which have ended quickly, so there's not much to go on. He's got all the tools.
Yeah.
He's a big lump.
I agree.
He's not as big as Anthony Joshua, though.
No, but I was...
Give him time.
What was going through my head, I think that the words that I can stick together is he's a technical brawler. He looks like that young
Technical
Mike
brawler.
Tyson.
Well, that gives him half a chance, then, doesn't it?
Yeah, but he looks very skillful at it. He's got that shape in him, and he looks very athletic.
I get the impression that this whole British boxing success story of late is set to continue.
Well, the thing is, Frank, everyone's got a heavyweight, ain't they?
Yeah.
You know, Frank never had one, really. I mean, Tyson Fury works with Frank Warren. The Furies work with Frank Warren.
Yeah.
That much we do know, as well as Hennessy, I think, in the past that worked with them.
Yeah.
So I think Frank just wanted a nice young one. He could throw in the mix fairly quickly.
And some good domestic scraps as well.
Get some good domestic scraps on. And he can, if you're a young heavyweight prospect now, climbing the ranks is probably easiest in this country than it's ever been.
Well, listen, Floyd already said it, the money's here.
Money's here.
There you go. There you go. And we saw, talking about money, we'll move on to the last fight on that bill, the actual head of the bill. Gervonta Davis versus Liam Walsh.
Did what he had to do, Davis, didn't he? Simple as that.
I didn't think he was going to lose that.
No. Don't think, bearing in mind that Floyd's in his corner and all the hype that goes with that, that you can afford to then lose. You can't afford to lose. So he did what he had to do. Let's see what the next chapter is.
I must say, Gervonta, he actually enjoyed the journey. You could see him within the press conference when Floyd was doing his thing. He just had that great smile on his face. And there was no nerves.
Well, I think the first Global Sporting Colour and Voice Newspaper Sports Magazine show that we spoke about Gervonta Davis and the fact that this guy's going to need to articulate himself to the media a lot better if he wants to become a household name, if he wants to attract the fans, which he would have, garnered and gleaned over the weekend. Yeah. So, and I thought his post-fight press conferences and interviews were a lot better. I thought he got his point across, and you could see there's a hungry young man there. You know, this is someone who doesn't. It'd be interesting to see how long he remains in the Mayweather shadow. Yeah. What I liked about Mayweather on the weekend is that he actually played the role of a promoter. Yeah. It's easy for him to kind of overshadow proceedings, but he played the role of a promoter, stepped back when he needed to.
He played the whole game.
And what he's learning.
He's learning as well. So not only is his fighter learning, Floyd's learning as well, a different mindset, different skill set.
Again, he enjoyed it as well.
He's still central to the
he'll always be central, but once again, it's more importantly is Davis needs to keep winning. Yeah. That's the most central thing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, he's the youngest world champion in the sport at the moment in the pro ranks. Looks like he's got a mean left on it. I mean, he's got strength, power. Yeah. So he's going to cause problems in that division no matter what. Talking about Floyd Mayweather, moving it on slightly, that fight with Conor McGregor looks
50% there, isn't it?
50% there.
Connor's, for those who don't know, if you've been under a rock somewhere, Conor has signed his half of the contract. So I'm assuming that's the whole of the MMA side has
sorted themselves out.
That's the fighting contract, because after that, then we still got to deal with TV.
True. Yeah, which are probably more lucrative.
Yeah, so
lucrative and probably mindful to make.
And I think I saw a quote from Floyd that said it's 90% done.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it was in quotation marks, and whether those quotes were his or someone else's. So, listen, we're edging closer. I think we all agree that it is business, with lots of zeros in the end, and it just makes economical sense to whoever's involved, the two fighters or the two combatants, and the nationwide audience that we've always said will have this intrigue about it. So
again, I can't wait for the press conferences.
I mean, that's what's going to say.
That will probably be that'll probably be better than
history as well. Absolutely. I saw a quote from Sugar Ray Leonard in which he said that it's the biggest mismatch in history. But the fight will still be a success because both fighters will make money.
There you go. Bottom line.
So that's
bottom line.
Public intrigue in it. So that's where we are. With that one, it'd be interesting to see what happens closer to the time and to see what station it's on TV wise. Yeah. Who's on the undercard? I know, Mayweather was trying to get
Anthony on there.
Trying to get. Yeah. Well, he's not going to get Anthony Joshua, is he? But he was trying to get his fighters on there. So the likes of Gervonta Davis.
So what you're saying there is an extension of the lucrative side of it. Everybody involved has got a slice or three coming their way.
Actually, there's some genuine boxing matches that could be on that bill as well, as opposed to this.
That's just a spectacle, isn't it? A showcase.
Yeah. We'll see. Time will tell. Moving on to football.
Yeah.
The season's finished, boys.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the sad thing.
I'll be back in a minute.
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about FA Cup in a minute, which is the real, for me, curtain closer.
That's the last thing we got.
Yeah,
to
that's the real last thing, isn't it?
Champions League the week after.
Yeah,
anyway.
true. Actually, yeah.
It's not-
True
yeah,
that. True
that-
that.
yeah.
Actually, we're filming.
There's history in there as well.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
so-
We're filming on the day of the Europa Cup. That's why we can't talk about it because we don't want to get that wrong and then put this out afterwards. But in terms of the season, boys, thoughts, assessments. Let's start with the winners. Did they deserve it?
Yeah, any team that wins 30 games out of 38, you give it to them. And I think what that also tells me about the Premier League, and all credit to Tottenham, because there wasn't a chasing pack, it was just Tottenham. What that tells me is that you can win 30 out of 38 games, but there was still an element of squeaky bum time for Chelsea. Away to Everton, they tick that box, all credit to them. They bounced back from the Crystal Palace defeat at their own place. It just tells me how competitive, how just, how thorough winning the Premier League is all about. You win 30 out of 38 games and you haven't cantered home. You've still had to go and work for it.
As well as all the other competitions.
Yeah, and
games
absolutely. And only, a bit painful for you, and only an unexpected defeat to West Ham by Tottenham through things in that title race. Because it literally could have gone to the last game if you take that out of the equation.
Probably would have.
So yeah, I think it's been a great season. I think it's a great season, and I think all Premier League seasons just improve.
I think it's been great because it hasn't been predictable insofar as the top four. I think at the start of the season it was like, cool, the top four, and everyone was like, that's going to be a job. And even doesn't matter what week of the season you went to, that was still a job. You know, picking who was going to end up in the top
And it's
four.
still not the top
And the
four
top four,
anybody
Well,
but-
it's the first time
yeah.
you guys,
Yeah.
Man United, Arsenal, have finished outside the
Yeah.
top four in Premier
League
League
history. Yeah,
You know, that's
Yeah.
says it all. doesn't
and
it?
and yet Arsenal only missed out by 1 point.
There you go. There you go.
So, you know,
Yeah.
listen, the Premier League, I'm sure it'll go again next year because everybody's going to step up.
Yeah,
Guardiola at Man City was supposed to be this holy grail saviour, no trophies. Yeah?
Bad behaviour, that is.
That is bad behaviour, that.
That's bad behaviour.
That's it. Right, my phone's off.
It's work, that
My
is.
phone's outside.
Yeah, so-
Well, look, let's just turn it off.
yeah, do that.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, go
I'll
on.
ring it back later.
Business calls.
Yeah,
Business
because
calls.
your business.
Look, taking the battery out.
Yeah,
Taking the
there
battery
you
out.
go.
That means it might not be business.
There you go.
The police.
Business over.
His business. No, I mean, the Premier League is just something special.
I think so. And I listen, credit to Conte, because to me, that's the glue that binds that team.
Absolutely. I think he
together.
dragged them over, didn't
Yeah, he did. And he worked it out very quickly. You know, a lot of managers come here with pedigree, with a reputation and understand football. He got in and understood the terrain. But you know, it just because I remember I was talking about him at the beginning, when we started this pod, and I said to you, one of the things he said at the beginning of the season was that he'd been here before. So he spent a couple of months at Arsenal. He spent a couple of months at West Ham.
Did his homework.
Tottenham, did his homework, understood the language. He prepared himself in every way he could to come in and have the impact he's had this
Preparation is
season.
key.
I can't
Especially
take my
in a
hat off
highly
to him.
competitive. What I'd also say, you might not see the link here, but it reminds me a little bit of when Wenger came,
Early doors.
whereby there was something to work with in the first place, and then you make it work. You make a few adjustments. In terms of Conte, it was the system. But he had a personnel there that only 2 seasons previous had won a title. You know, so it wasn't like he was working from scratch. But what the point you make there, he prepared himself to then go and
think that's
work
key.
with a champion set of players that only went off the rails because of the Mourinho fallout.
And it allowed his personality to shine through within the
And what a
players
lovely
and their
personality. I
performance.
love it.
Yeah.
I fell in love. I mean, for me now, as an Arsenal fan, Chelsea's acceptable. I mean, you know, I've said to you, you know, I had a few issues with the previous manager, but
Don't have no issues
what I thought, and I said it to you, when I saw Chelsea hammer United, 4-0, and Conte within minutes of being at Stamford Bridge had got the crowd whipped up.
Yeah.
It was a la Mourinho.
It was.
And you can come and do all that homework, but you need some minerals, don't you, to actually then whip up a crowd.
take that,
Because you're not guaranteed winning the league at that stage.
Nah.
But he set a standard for me.
No,
there.
he did, and you're right. That game was quite poignant, and obviously we saw the fall out, the spat, the little word in the air from Marino that game. which they tried to keep under wraps, but they couldn't. And credit to Antonio. He tried to keep it under wraps. He was in the press conference afterwards talking about that's just the sort of stuff.
Do you know what it is? Two passionate men. Managing two gigantic clubs.
Yeah,
all right,
and
it's just like two bulls going at it head to head. And on this occasion, Conte came out top.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant, and I can't wait for next season.
What did we make of the top four? Runners up and the top four.
Tottenham, Chelsea,
City.
I'm not going into the rest of them. I'm working it out now.
Okay.
City, Liverpool. Yeah, I mean the positions don't lie in terms of the performance of the team.
You are where you are in the Premier League,
and it's not. That's fine. I just think those teams like Liverpool actually had a great start to the season.
They came to Arsenal and won on the opening day in a mad game of football.
And they were looked at as the team to beat, and they fell off. And I think that was disappointing. That was disappointing. Man City, they came with the mystique of the Guardiola, and he found out how hard the actual English league actually is. So
he didn't prepare anyone.
He didn't prepare at all. He came in and
he believed his rep was just good enough to turn up on the doorstep.
And it looked like that. It looked like that for a couple of months.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It looked like that. But was it 10 games on the spin?
Yeah, but as you said, the Premier League doesn't lie, and it's an unforgiving business. I think the top four, to answer your question, is just as it should be.
Do you know what's significant for me is the fact that 2 out of those 4 spaces have been filled, champions and fourth, by clubs that didn't have any European games.
I was going to bring that one up.
So that's interesting in terms of how next season goes.
That's first and fourth.
Yeah, first and fourth. And Liverpool nearly blew it.
Don't forget, Liverpool started 2017 couldn't win a game.
Yeah.
Do you know, it was only a victory at Anfield against Tottenham that it turned around. Yeah. So everybody's had their spell apart from Chelsea, and Chelsea's spell was 2 games. Home defeat to Liverpool and a spanking at Arsenal.
But is it
and he worked out the system and changed it.
Is it fair to say though those 2 teams actually had a great foundation of players that had played together in a previous season, and all they needed was tweaking? Tottenham and Chelsea.
I think last season every team below Leicester needed to get better. Every team needed to improve. A couple of those teams brought in new managers. So that was always going to make the terrain a little bit difficult for them or interesting to watch as a neutral observer. I thought that they all did well, but only Tottenham had the continuity, and in Victor Wanyama,
that was the addition.
That was the addition. That was the key addition for me. £9 million, Premier League experience.
Money well spent.
Played with the manager before. I thought that was probably the key, attribute for Spurs this year. And bearing in mind, we wasted 30 million.
And Kane was injured for half the season as well. So
a third of the season.
Yeah, we have to pay tribute.
So you got to pay tribute to him.
I mean, he's missed 13 games and still ended up Golden Boot for second successive.
29 games, 29 goals that's
and his last 2 games were absolutely clinical. 4 against Leicester.
We spoke about it last week though.
I spoke about it and did what he needed to do. He wanted that boot. As I said, I just think that Tottenham moving forward, I think we'll have 2 interesting seasons coming up. One, playing all their home games at Wembley, and then the season after playing their games in the new stadium. So it'd be interesting to see if the squad can be kept together, and if they can, they've got a fighting chance of winning the league. And you see, third one season, second the next. The obvious is first, or is it fourth? Do you know what I mean?
Well, what's going to be a killer is that I can say now at this juncture that all 6 teams around Tottenham, 5 teams, sorry, 6 are gonna spend more money than us. Considerably more money than us. And that's going to be interesting, a telling factor even, because we don't need to strengthen really like that. We may need to replace Walker if he's sold to Man City.
Not Crystal Palace.
Yeah, not Crystal Palace. So I've just got the Sacco on my brain actually. That's what
you know what? You're going. It seems like you're going to go through what Arsenal went through when they moved out of their stadium. Yeah. But they didn't have to spend either.
I think they still maintained. Yeah, but the difference between those 2 moves, Tottenham are much better than the Arsenal team.
Yeah, exactly.
That move from Highbury to Emirates.
Yeah.
And it's not 2-horse race anymore.
No.
Nice.
No.
It's a 6-horse race.
It's a 6-horse race.
6 into 4.
So. And of course, it'd be interesting to see what happens with the Thursdays, Sundays of Arsenal. And as an Arsenal fan wanting change, and we've talked about it on this podcast several times, I'm happy about it, but I can live with it if it just starts to take a few bricks out of the wall and we start again.
Well, you can see what happened with United this season in terms of that Thursday, Sunday performance, to the point where Jose, all the injuries started kicking in, and Jose decided to make a decision.
He had to make decisions.
So.
I think he had that. I think he always had that week to make the decision. He knew what was coming. He knew the games. He knew. I think he played 9 games in a month. Ridiculous. I think he always knew if you come through that period, he'd have to make a decision based on where you were. Yeah. He made that decision and in front of the cameras, and I don't think anyone.
It's justified if they lift the pot.
Exactly.
And there's a Champions League spot at the end of it.
They've done well to get to the final.
Yeah,
I've sat here and we've spoken about it many times before. It's another half a season.
Absolutely.
On top of your 30
you played 2 million games.
17 games.
At least the kids played though against Palace, and they were really good, mate.
Well, there's some pros to be taken out of it, and I think anybody.
It's just about working it out. I think what you do, you just bob and weave the early rounds, and then you see where you are. And if Arsenal are in the same position that United have been this season, in terms of right at the business end of a Champions League spot and a trophy, I'm happy. If you look at the top 6, everybody has a story or a scenario that they have to deal with. So that's the nature of it, and it's just how well you deal with it. So if we go full circle 5 minutes, that's why Chelsea are deserving champions. Got beaten at their home patch by Liverpool, got thrashed by Arsenal, and guess what? He worked it out. Same set of players, I'm going to change the system.
Simple.
Best player of the season, boys.
Best player of the season. Oh, that's a tricky one. I mean, I think I have to go for Harry Kane. To miss a third of the season, to stay motivated, and then to lift another golden boot, and to end the season in such fine form.
He showed some mental fortitude.
That break could have been the break that he needed, though, to kick on for the last part
I mean,
of
that
the
said,
when he rolled it the second time, I thought he shouldn't have been on the pitch.
We did see that.
And I was like, you know what? That's not smart.
For me, he's the player of the season for me.
It's run close. It's funny the Arsenal man says that. I think it's run close by Alexis Sanchez. I don't think if Arsenal don't have that player, I don't even think they finish 5th.
I agree with that one.
Yeah, agree with you.
And the thing is, obviously, Harry's.
Do you know what Alexis Sanchez's season reminds me of? It reminds me of Van Persie's last season at Arsenal, where he was always getting us out of a hole, and then he jogged on. So while you don't want him to leave, there'll always be, hopefully, someone that will replace, because Van Persie did something similar. But what I love about Sanchez, he's a fighter. And he has a standard for himself that he obviously wants others to pick up on. They sadly haven't, but he will keep going. I did Sanchez Cam, Arsenal versus Sunderland. Arsenal versus Everton, last game of the season, and I just watched him. Literally, I just watched him. He moans and he complains. He knows where he wants the ball. Why didn't you give me the ball? Body language is but he'll turn up and he'll score a goal or 2, or he'll make an assist.
I think he's been outstanding this year. He's been a different level.
I think he's got something like 15 assists.
And
to go with the goals.
23.
24. So that's a lot of
big influence.
A lot of influence.
That's the word right there.
There's a lot of influence. So
What about yourself?
No, you know what? It's between those two guys. I don't think that I could call anybody else within all of that. And like you said, Kane's got his element to it. Sanchez, I like.
So no Chelsea player for you? Stood that?
No,
it's interesting, isn't it?
But Chelsea were a great team, and that's probably why we can't identify any one player.
Well, Kante
got
in the players, didn't he?
I did have him in my brain, but then it was like, he done it, but then he had dips where he fell into the team and done his job. Whereas it weren't outstanding.
I was going to say that.
Whereas they don't have a. And this sounds really odd when they've just lifted the title. They don't have a Kane or a Sanchez in the truest sense.
It would have been Diego.
Or that would have been their Hazard.
But
he they all fell into a team and played there.
They were the best team.
Credit to the manager. I mean, they never had the type of injuries that Arsenal had, Man United had.
They only had 38 games. Or 33.
And Liverpool only went wobbly once they started playing 2-3 games a week with the other competitions. But anyway,
Cup finals.
Most surprising aspect of this season for you?
Surprising. For me, the lack of success by Guardiola, and the fact that he thought he could come here and think he was at the Camp Nou, or Bayern, and the Premier League literally said, you know what, you're gonna have to earn the right, my friend.
Reputation means
we don't care who you are.
We
don't know. We don't. You've left Messi and those quality players behind. This is the English Premier League, and you got to earn the right. And I would imagine that right now he's got a wish list of players that will drop into the system he wants to play. Quite clearly, there's a few players there. I think Zabaletta's on the move, Clichy's on the move.
Again,
Torre.
he wants a team.
Yeah, he wants a
doesn't
team.
Want individuals. He wants a team.
And we go back again. That's why Kyle Walker, with him wanting to play wing backs, going
bombing up and
down.
Yo-yo,
Kyle
that's what it
Walker,
is.
and dare I say this, Danny Rose would fit the bill for but you know. That's been the biggest surprise because it's been reputation, hasn't it? Wherever he's gone, he's been the man.
Mine is Zlatan. Coming in at 35 before his injuries within that season and doing what he'd done, he was a massive influence to that United side and to the Premier League. It's like, he fits right.
He made everybody eat their words. Yeah. That's exactly right.
And until he got injured,
that's a good shout.
I believe during Christmas, he slowed down, and that's when he had to just kick back in, and then he kicked back in again, and then he got injured again. So it's Zlatan for me.
I think it's Pogba for me. Same Man United team. I thought not giving him the stick that everyone else has been giving him. I still don't think the level he was performing at was anywhere near his level. And we could point to the team bedding in and all of those factors, finding that combination, that partner in the midfield. You know how it is, familiarity. But he didn't find anywhere near the level that I thought he would have. And I forget the money involved and all the rest of it. I just thought he was a better player than he showed in this first season back in the Premier League.
That was interesting.
I'm looking forward to seeing him next year.
What was interesting about his stats was that he had the most amount of passes and done the most runs than more than anybody in the Premier League.
Most midfielders,
in the Premier League. So
do you know what? I mean, I agree with what you say, but I also think if you look at that Juventus Pogba and some of the showings in a United shirt, if he gets it half right.
Oh, listen, we know he's going to get it right.
If he gets it half right, there's a player there. There's a player there.
When he gets it right, let's have it right.
Yeah.
When he gets it right.
Because it's in there already.
He's going to get it right.
It's not that he didn't get injured and it went somewhere.
It's in there.
Yeah, he's gonna. That's why I know it's next year is so interesting because you're gonna come strong again. Like, Guardiola can't suffer the embarrassment. You know what I mean?
Total embarrassment.
He's gone down to the last game of the season for him as well.
He took it on the chin though. Just when he said, like,
do you know what he didn't? He didn't always take it on the chin though.
Towards the end,
there was times
he got very prickly.
He got used to it.
He got very prickly.
Used to it, innit?
As I said, the EPL it just doesn't favour anyone. You've got to earn the right.
No hiding, right?
You've got to earn the right.
No hiding. Like you've got to deserve it. You've got to own it.
You know, and that's why people like a lower level, and that's probably not the right term, but the less sexy level of the Pulises and the Allardyces. That's why they always get called upon because they know the EPL, don't they?
What about Allardyce?
He's quit though.
Walked out of Palace.
They said it might be his last job. That's him.
He'll be back.
Getting lost.
Yeah. He'll be fed up. He'll be fed up watching Soccer Saturday.
He thinks he's Harry. He thinks he's a new Harry Redknapp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because he's home England.
Their managers.
He was the England manager.
He'll get a column now and start slagging off all the other managers.
And you'll probably see him pop up on a lot of media stuff.
No, that's what will
for
happen.
The new season.
That's exactly what will happen.
And maybe we'll only find out the truth in a good book.
No, you know what it is. Parish didn't want to give him what he wanted, innit?
Yeah.
He's got these set of demands that are going to help him do the job. He's seen the club for what it is.
Well, he bought. I reckon
he's no Pardew.
Excuse me.
He potentially just brought him in to save the club.
No,
because
that's
they were.
Well, that's what he did. That's what he did.
Jog on,
That's what he
man.
did.
It's time to go.
No, he probably didn't want to jog him on, but he said, listen, it don't matter who I bring in, this is what they're going to be working with.
This is our model.
This is what we're going to be
Yeah,
working
and if
with.
you don't like it,
he said, nah, I
straight
can't
down
work
to the
with
job
that.
centre.
He's gone, innit?
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is that's there's a man that needed a job, didn't he? To rehabilitate.
Yeah, and that's right. I mean, the
right
England
thing.
thing went pear-shaped for him, and he probably thought, you know what, let me try and get into a scenario. And he achieved it,
Yeah, he did achieve
which
it.
was an upward spiral. Yeah. But I would imagine next October, early 2018, if there's a club in the bottom half,
January transfer.
struggling, it'll be, Sam, what do you reckon?
Save the club.
What's your price? And then you'll be...
Yeah.
Big Sam's back. I can see the headlines now.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to do Harry Redknapp, come in and out when he wants, talk about retiring, and I'm retiring and retiring. That was a surprise.
So who's going there? David Moyes? Palace.
Leave it. FA Cup this weekend. Where's your money, Face?
The right thing would be, for me personally, Chelsea. They are the champions of the league. They've shown everybody that they've run into form again. They're staying there. They are the best team. It should be Chelsea. Who knows? It's cup games though.
50-50 Reds.
Arsenal for me. That's not just me being silly. It's just a feeling. I can't base it on anything. And obviously, if Chelsea lift the cup and obviously a double come Saturday evening, no one's going to fall over with total surprise. They'll be bookies' favourites. they'll be highly motivated as well. 90 minutes from
one
the
in
double.
90 minutes or extra time?
I don't know. I tell you what I think might happen in the game. I think you saw a little bit of it against Man City in the semi-final with Arsenal. I think Arsenal will be the physical side and try and make it horrible and scruffy, which is the opposite of what Arsenal generally do.
And not what Chelsea would expect.
And not what but yeah, Chelsea are full of big men and they know how to deal with that, maybe more so than a Man City. I just think it'll be ugly and scruffy, and if Arsenal get a little bit of luck, and you need it, and I know they got a whole dollop in the semi-final, it's theirs.
He said Arsenal as bullies. Can you imagine?
No, not
Arsenal
really.
as bullies.
Not really.
Yeah.
Yourself?
See Oxlade-Chamberlain, just not really. I don't want none of them to win. I really don't. I just want it to be a draw and them to split the trophy.
But the way it's going to go, the Community Shield in August, which is the curtain raiser, will be Chelsea versus Arsenal, won't it?
Again, yeah. That's
Again.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
No matter what happens on Saturday.
We're going to do this again. I'd have to go with the form team.
Of course you do.
And that's Arsenal. You know, they've been red hot the last 5, 6, 7 games. And I think they generally want a trophy to shut everyone up.
Didn't they lose 2 defenders?
They did. Koscielny's out.
Koscielny's out.
Suspension.
And Gabriel's
and
out.
That's what evens up the game for me, to be honest with you. If they was at full strength, then I think they would have won.
And of course, if we just go back 10 minutes, I think the game is set up for Alexis Sanchez.
And I was just about to say Sanchez.
I really do. I don't know. He likes it there. You know, he scored the worldie against
and
Villa.
if he is going, it's a great send-off.
Yeah, it might be.
What happened last time you met them there?
We beat him. Community Shield. Yeah. Had an awful lot of luck, but it was a hot day in August and we beat him.
It's going to be a hot day on Sunday.
Yes, Saturday even.
Saturday.
We'll tune in afterwards
We will do.
and we'll talk about it. But thanks for your time, boys.
Pleasure.
We'll be back next week. See what
Indeed.
happens, innit?
And I'll have the trophy in my hand.
Oh,